He's such a slut. Like that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dr. What? I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jeannette de Pompadour.
Oh my god, we were wondering why she wasn't named Jeanette.
I know, because Jean Antoinette, that's basically my name. I'm just saying. Like, call me. Doctor, call me. Pathetically, like, begging.
We watched this episode together, and Jeanette, like, every time David Tennant would, like, do a little thing, Jeanette was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I could, like, hear you, like, talking to yourself about him.
He was just, like, at his flirty best in this episode. Like, I can't help it. I am like this for nobody else. Like, you have to understand that David Tennant is my Levi.
Why would you say that? Why would you
Because
say
we were
that?
just talking about how you're a little freak about him before we started recording. So, was that uncalled for?
You just, like, my brain turned to soup. That was crazy. That was, like, I didn't expect you to, like, expose me like that. I don't even, like, I have my notes, and, like, I can't even, like, I don't know how to read anymore.
It's not like I'm exposing you. We've said this before. I'm just reminding the audience what we already know.
Does the Dr. What audience know about that part of me? Did we?
I am almost positive that we've mentioned it in episodes before. Remember we were talking about the music in Father's Day, and
oh, well, yeah.
We were like, oh, it's so good. And then you were like, well, the Attack on Titan, like, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yuki Sawano.
Exactly. And we've definitely mentioned the big L before.
Oh my God.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Anyways, so The Girl on the Fireplace is a fandom classic, so I'm really excited to get your take on this episode.
It really was quite good, and I want to say I do think I've seen parts of it before, but not the whole thing, because I recognized those, like, weird automatons as soon as I saw them, but it was still a lovely episode. Like, it was basically like I was watching it for the first time. It was quite good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I have some thoughts, but go into the synopsis.
Oh. Yes, before we get into those thoughts and the fun facts, for those of you who don't know this Doctor Who classic, here is the synopsis. For their first trip with Mickey, the 10th Doctor and Rose end up on a spaceship in the future that contains several portals to pre-revolutionary France. When he steps through one of these portals, shaped like a fireplace, the Doctor discovers the even greater mystery of actual romantic love.
I don't like that.
Dude.
What do you mean actual romantic love?
Like, I know, then what is Rose? Chopped liver? Like, what's Sarah Jane Smith?
I thought you were, like, talking to me.
Yeah, what about Sarah? You know they kissed your cardboard cutout, right?
It's so Jover.
That's actual romantic love if I've ever seen it.
You don't know romantic love until you, like, anyway, do you want to hear the fun fact?
What? I do want to hear the fun facts. I would love to hear the fun facts.
I have, like, very specially curated our selection of fun facts today. I have 3.
Ooh.
Okay, fun fact number 1. Sophia Myles, who's the actress for Renette, and David Tennant started dating after working together on this story, according to an interview with Myles on GMTV, taken on April 25th of 2006. It was rumored...
Yeah, keep going, please.
It was rumored she carried a Doctor Who doll in her handbag. However, their relationship ended in 2007.
If you could see my face right now, I literally, like, screwed up into the most tight-lipped expression, like holding back a reaction, because literally that should have been me. But I guess it doesn't matter because he did marry Georgia anyway later, so whatever.
But like,
but to be a 1 year long relationship with David Tennant, you know what I mean?
The whirlwind of it all. Like, you don't have to see like the warts. You don't have to like know the flaws. You can just have like a whirlwind Doctor Who romance with David Tennant and carry a Doctor Who doll in your handbag and then like remember it fondly.
Wow, she's kind of like got something on you though. Like, what is a cardboard cutout to a small Doctor Who doll for the handbag?
I clearly have like it better than she does.
Honestly, I agree.
All right, Renette is the first non-companion character to kiss the Doctor on screen.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Lots to think about.
Why didn't he kiss Blonde? That would have been crazy. Like, could you imagine if Blonde and the Doctor's date had ended in them, like, making up out sloppy style?
Their dinner in bondage.
Exactly.
Works for me. Sorry, you said like the L word at the beginning of the episode and now I'm not normal.
Please. It's okay.
In an interview with The Independent, Russell T Davies said the episode is, quote, practically a love story for the Doctor. It's very understated, very beautifully done, but it's nonetheless a Time Lord falling in love and Rose's reaction to him falling in love with someone else. End quote.
Dude.
It's also written by Stephen Moffat.
No. Well, before we get into the best and worst parts, I wanted to share my own 2 fun facts that I came up with while watching the episode with Sarah.
What are they?
These are not necessarily like, I didn't look these up or anything. These are just like linguistic fun facts.
Oh.
So, Renette's last name, Poisson, means fish.
Not
in
baby
French.
Chicken.
Not the young chicken, which is pousson. Poisson versus pousson. So when I first saw it, I was like, wait, is this fish or is it a young chicken? It was fish. If you're a fan of The Little Mermaid, you may remember the song that the chef sings where he's like, le poisson, hee hee hee, ha ha ha. Because he's talking about fish. And then my other fun fact is that Renette is the diminutive female form of the French word for king, or like a royal figure, so it means little queen.
That's really cute.
And that was her nickname. Yeah, it's a little cutie.
I love that.
So.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course. And by that logic, of course, my name, Jeanette, is Little Jean. So, there you go.
Just like John Kierstein from Attack on Titan.
I knew you were going to say that bullshit. I literally knew you were going to say that. I hate him.
Why?
And his horse face. He sucks.
You didn't watch season 4. You can't say anything. You watched like the first half of season 1. You can't say anything about John. You don't even know him like I know him. Anyway.
Okay, whatever. I know his boyfriend got his fucking head, like, smashed in. That's what I know.
I thought you were talking about Aaron.
Help. Well, I can't even talk because I don't even watch Attack on Titan. Like, I just love to be a hater for no reason.
Speaking of hating, what did you not hate? What was the opposite of hatred? What was your best part?
Why wouldn't we just do worst part first, Sarah?
I didn't want to mess up the order of things.
Well, we could have twitched it up. You know,
shit.
It's a new season.
Oh my god.
A new day, a new dawn. I'm feeling good.
Speaking of feeling good, what was the opposite of feeling good for you? What was your worst part?
Oh my god. It's so good. Okay, what was my worst part? I think... Did I even have a worst part? I don't know. What was your worst part? Maybe that'll help me ruminate on what mine was.
You're gonna hate me. Everyone's gonna hate me. I'm really sorry, guys.
Why? Because you're gonna say Renette?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because this is like this historically has been one of my favorite episodes. It's a fandom classic. Like, I get it. And when I was rewatching it with Jeanette, like, I really appreciated it more because I feel like I was seeing it through your eyes. And that made me be like, oh, okay. But, so I watched it by myself, and then I watched it with Jeanette. When I was watching it by myself, I felt like I was kind of, like, seeing it through a more critical lens, like, the rose-tinted glasses of the first impression, they were off, and, like, I just kind of felt that Renette, like, wasn't giving what, like, I needed her to give, because, like, you have the Doctor, like, having a whirlwind romance with this, like, random lady, and I mean, yeah, she's a really accomplished woman, like, I'm not gonna, like, deny her accomplishments, but, like, far be it from me to shame a girl boss, but, like, I don't know, I just feel like she wasn't as, like, charming as she may have needed to be, like, and when she was talking about, like, how, oh, like, he's, like, my angel, like, my lonely angel, like, I love him so much, I'm like, I'm not buying it, like, it just kind of felt, like, out of nowhere for me, and, like, I was sad when she died, and, like, I was buying into it, kind of, but I just felt like I needed more from her. Like, I don't know if it was, like, the acting, or just, like, the fact that, like, she was, like, a one-time, like, character, and, like, he already has this thing with Rose going, maybe, like, all of that, but it just kind of, like, wasn't, it just kind of fell a little flat for me.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I honestly, when you said that Moffat was the writer of the episode, it made the dialogue that Renette says, like, so, like, I understood it. I literally understood. Because I agree with you. I think that her performance was, like, not the best. And I spent most of the time, like, wishing that I was her, because I bet I could have, like, ate up that performance way better. Not even just because I'd get to act alongside David Tennant, but I was like, okay, it's not giving something. And I don't necessarily think it's the actress's fault. I think it's a fault of the dialogue as well, because Stephen Moffat, like, doesn't know how to write women as people. And, you know, with the pacing of the episode, like, with the way that it is such a whirlwind romance, and we only see her, like, through life a few different times, it couldn't give us everything that it needed to give us to make it convincing. So I can't personally fault it for that, I don't think, but I do think that she has issues. So I would never deny you your worst part. Like, I agree with you. It just didn't bother me enough to be like, I didn't like this part. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I totally get what you mean. And I feel like the first time I watched it, like, I felt the same way that you did. It just, like, wasn't that big of an issue. But having, like, seen this episode, like, a whole, like, bunch of times now, like,
yeah,
I'm just, like, viewing it, like, more critically. And it just, like,
yeah,
it made the rewatch a bit, like, like, I need you to, like, put a little more oomph into this. I feel bad criticizing the actress, because I am not an actor myself, you know? Like, she probably did a better job than I could have. But, like, the lines she had were, like, so poetic.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really, like, saying them like they were poetry. And it was...
You know what would have made it better? And this is what I said while we watched the episode, too. I think she should have been speaking fucking French the whole time.
Dude. Oh my god.
Like, why wasn't she speaking French, and why didn't they give us subtitles? Sorry, Sarah and I both have been watching Interview with the Vampire. And this is something that they do really often in the show, is that Lestat will speak French and they'll just have the subtitles up and they'll just translate it. And he'll be responded to in English like nothing, you know, is happening. And I bet that this is a flaw of the fact that this is a stupid BBC show and we're Francophobes here, which is fine because I also hate the French. But the delivery, I feel like, would have been so much better. Like, she's a historical character. She's French. I don't know. Like, put that shit in the language of love.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. Oh my god, imagine hearing that.
Why is your ass not saying je t'aime, you know? Like, why? What is going on here?
No, you're right.
So that's my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents, I've snatched them up. I love them. I agree wholeheartedly. Like, it would have sounded so much better if it were in French. And maybe a fault of the BBC, but I also feel like, I mean, I knew that we were going to bring up Interview with the Vampire eventually. How could we not? But
yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't know if I personally have seen many like shows or movies set in a place that isn't English speaking have the characters not speak in a British accent. Like, I'm thinking of like 2012, like Les Miserables as well. Like, just like,
oh my god.
also, didn't they do that with like the Anna Karenina movie? Just like a movie that takes place in like a foreign setting. They don't speak English, but they're just gonna like speak in like British accents. Why? I don't know.
I guess the whole premise is that like it's translated for you, or like, you know, you're supposed to be understanding it in your own like whatever. It would be weird, I suppose, if all of the French people spoke with French accents, because they're not technically supposed to be speaking English. They're supposed to be speaking French and we're just like understanding it. That's kind of how I would view it as the excuse, but I think we've grown past this.
Yeah.
As people who, like, I don't know, we live in a global time, in an international time. I think it won't kill us to hear a language that's not English and for us to read subtitles.
No, yeah. I feel like this is like a shifting attitude though. You know, like this episode came out in like
Yeah.
what, like 2006. Like, I feel like now, and like had it come out in 2024, they may have had like Renette speak French and like the King speak French. Maybe, I don't know, but like it does seem like a new thing. Like, I feel like movies, even just like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. It was just like the generic British accent.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, which is very true. It is unfortunate. And it's kind of a hallmark of the BBC where they take like a historical like story that's set in like another country, and then it's just like, oh, we're just speaking in our little I'm thinking of BBC Casanova with David Tennant. I'm like, okay, you're Italian. Why don't you do a little, you know? Maybe actually that would be offensive though. I don't know.
I mean, it depends. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not Italian. I actually can't speak on that.
I mean, I'm Italian, but not like that kind of Italian. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I don't. LOL.
But anyway, so Renette was your least favorite part, but what was your favorite part of the episode?
It's hard to pinpoint a specific thing because there's so many things to love about this episode. I may just have to go generic on it and say the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which is like such a big answer, but like the costuming was so gorgeous. The setting was beautiful. Like, just like everything about it, and the way that like Versailles like contrasted with like the spaceship, and like the clockwork too, like the clockwork machines. Like, I don't know, there was just like something.
The practical effects were so good.
Yeah, practical effects, like beautiful costumes, like the music as well was so good. The piano, like, it was so delicate. It sounded like a fairy tale music, and like I feel like that was definitely what this episode was going for, and it really did achieve that.
Nice. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I mean, you know, I love the historical episodes where they go back in time and they like meet a famous person. So this totally ticked all the boxes for me, and I think it was handled better than the Unquiet Dead. Not that because you know I love the Unquiet Dead like so much, but it was interesting to see kind of a more tender, like, historical something happen with the Doctor. I think as for my favorite part of the episode, this is also somewhat abstract because it's not like, because I hate it. I do hate it. But I also really love it, and I can't wait to see like how it builds. But Rose reacting to the Doctor's other flings. I really hate the like weird misogynistic kind of woman infighting thing as a trope. Like, I think it's so tired. I think we talked about this in the school reunion episode. But I think that it is going to be so good later. Like, the build-up, her being like, well, I guess the queen, like, probably doesn't like her very much, you know, all the, like, quippy whatever, and, like, being pissed at the doctor. It is going to be so good when it finally pays off and they have, like, some kind of big blowout, like, fight about it. Like, it's going to be so good. I'm so excited. But yeah, I think I really liked it in this episode, especially since Renette is also blonde. They both have similar qualities. Like, they have similar, not necessarily personalities, because I think Renette is a little less, like, abrasive and, you know, like, I don't know. There's something about Rose that's just so Rose. But they're both, like, special in the way, because both of them were compatible with the ship, right? Which I thought was a really interesting parallel.
Wait.
Like, remember the Clockwork guys were, like, to Rose, like, you're also compatible. Like, they strapped her down and then, you know, whatever.
I think that...
Do you remember this?
No, I remember it. I don't know if that meant necessarily that her brain was compatible with the ship. I think it was just, like, her body parts were compatible.
Really?
That's what I took it as. Because at the end, it's, like, revealed that the ship is named after Madame de Pompadour, and, like, that's why they wanted her brain.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if Rose's brain would also be compatible, but let me, like, look that up. I feel like other people might have that question.
I just thought it was really interesting because I feel like the only person who has also, like, seen into the doctor's mind a little bit was Rose.
Yeah, with Bad Wolf.
Like, remember when the doctor, like, goes into Madame de Pompadour's mind, and then she's like, oh, I can see into yours too, and he's like, how did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, I felt like there was kind of a parallel there, but I could be misinterpreting when Rose was strapped down also.
Yeah, I don't think that it's, sorry, I'm just looking it up. I don't think that she was compatible with
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Damn. That would have been so good, though.
That would have been really good. No, I totally agree with you. But, like, yeah, yes to everything you just said. Like, I loved seeing Rose's little subtle reactions to, like, to the doctor's clear infatuation with Renette.
Yeah.
Because it's like she's seeing from the outside how he usually acts about her.
Yeah.
I liked Billie Piper's acting. But I mean, I liked it, but I also I wanted a little bit more of it. I feel like not enough attention was given to, like, Rose's feelings on it. I don't think that she necessarily, like, needed to give a speech or whatever. But there were, like, a few moments where, like, it panned to, like, Rose's expression and, like, reaction, and I just, like, needed a few more of those because we know that the Doctor and Rose are, like, the thing, and then suddenly he is just, like, infatuated head over heels with, like, this other woman, and, like, doesn't even really, like, he leaves, you know, like, he totally, like, leaves Rose and is fully prepared to, like, never go back again. And he's, like, a little melancholy about it, but, like, it seems like he'll be okay. And it's just, like, well, there's something to be said about that, too, actually.
Oh.
I'm thinking as I'm talking.
Oh?
No, I don't know. It's just, like, the way that, like, the last episode had, like, Rose reacting to, like, Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah.
And now we see Rose reacting to, like, Renette. Just, like, the way that the Doctor is in love and Rose having to kind of, like, see that objectively versus, like, how she was seeing it before when she was, like, embroiled in it.
Yeah, dude. And something else I really enjoyed about the episode is how Mickey has been kind of a little, like, I told you so thing. It doesn't actually annoy me the way I thought it would because, you know, I'll defend Mickey, but he still irritates me sometimes. I actually think it's good that he's traveling with Rose and the Doctor now, especially where Rose is, like, seeing past the rose-colored glasses of her infatuation with the Doctor. Like, him being a reality check, like a physical reality check for her when she's reacting to these other women that the Doctor is, like, palling around with, I think is actually pretty good, and I liked it. I don't know about you.
No, I totally agree. I very much enjoy Mickey's presence. Like, when the robot is like, we do not have the parts, and Mickey's like, haha, that's what it always comes down to, isn't it? The parts. Like, like,
dude, he's so silly.
Who else's brain would go there? You'd have to be, like, making leaps and bounds, I feel, to, like, have your brain go there in that moment. And only Mickey. Like, he's such a silly guy.
It's really true.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. Oh, yeah, but to your point, one thing about Moffat is I will hand it to him, can write a polycule. Like, we saw it in, like, Nine Jack Rose. And, like, now, it's just, like, a really fucked up polycule. Because I feel like everyone kind of understood that, like, everyone was in love with everyone. Like, Rose could see
It's true
that the doctor was infatuated with Renette, but there was no way that she would have told him to, like, hang back, you know? Like, she would never have told him to not save someone. So she just, like, sees him rushing towards, like, this other girl he loves and just kind of, like, understands that, you know? And Mickey understands that Rose loves the doctor, and the doctor also loves Rose. And then there was also, like, the king, like, at the end, who, like, loved Renette, and, like, they have that moment, him and the doctor, where, like, they're watching her casket be carried away in the carriage, and, like, he's like, what does she say? And the doctor tucks away the letter, and he's like, quite right. Like, I don't know, like, that moment also was just very, like, moving to me. Like, the king's grief and, like, his empty stare, and, like, he's also, like, shaking slightly. I don't know if, like, you noticed, like, when he's talking. It's really good. Like, they both, like, understand that they're grieving the same woman. Like, there was just a lot of, like, interpersonal shit going on that I did very much enjoy and always do enjoy.
Yeah, I loved that end scene where the doctor, he's like, pack a bag, like, I'll be right back. And then he comes back, and at first the king is, like, circling around what he means. He's like, oh, she's going to Paris, like, blah, blah, blah. And then the reveal that she's dead is so good. Absolutely so good. That was written perfectly.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I do also, back to your point about Nine Rose Jack and, like, Nine Rose Jack and Mickey, like, there being more of an understanding, like a polycule understanding. There's just something about 10 that, like, makes people want him all to himself, I guess. Which is funny because he's way more what you always are like, he's such a slut. But yeah, seems to be way more promiscuous with his feelings than I feel like 9 ever was. So, or maybe not promiscuous. That's kind of a loaded term. He's more like
free with it.
He's more willing to share the love around. Yeah, he's more free with it. He's more emotional, like more openly emotional, I feel.
Yeah. A lot of people bring up the point that, like, he regenerated, like 9 regenerated into 10, loving Rose, you know, like full of love for Rose, sacrificing himself, right? He took, like, the time vortex from her and into himself and, like, died for her. So, like, this doctor is born out of that love and maybe loses some of he not, like, loses his seriousness, but rather, like, doesn't really know how to, like, balance it all. Maybe, like, he's just very free with his emotions, and, like, kind of a part of him, like, kind of, it seems like a part of him, like, wants to be human, but, like, just can never really grasp it.
Yeah.
I, like, wrote a bunch in my notes also, like, he's such a slut.
I know you did. When we were watching it together, like, Sarah could not, like, stop being like, he's such a slut. Like, that way that you love to say it. Classic. Absolutely classic.
But isn't he, though? Like,
he is, and I love him for it, though. Like, I wouldn't have him any other way. I'm like, yes, that slim, foxy body, put it around. Like, there's enough for everybody. I'm just saying. I really hope he never, ever, 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 ever listens to this podcast. Like, the way we talk about him is really scary. But whatever, I don't care.
Oh, but you know what was actually kind of scary?
What?
I think that we need to talk about it, that he, like, knew Renette as a little girl, and then when he sees her as, like, a grown woman, he's like, goodness, how you've grown. That was a little weird.
It was a little weird. I never really fuck with the whole, like, oh, I knew you as a child, and then now we're, whatever. I guess everyone is super young to him. It's like the classic vampire thing. In Interview with the Vampire, you have Claudia and the companion, right, when they go to Paris, Madeline or whatever. And Madeline is a grown-ass woman, but Claudia, of course, has the body of a, I don't remember how old she is, like 12?
Yeah, around that. She's prepubescent.
Yeah, she's prepubescent. Stuff like that always is, like, a little iffy. I think it just feels a little bit worse because it's a Moffat episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're weird. Like, I just know it. I'm scared.
And not to, like, I'm not gonna, like, spoil any major plot points, but he does, like, do it again later on in the series.
No.
It's just, like, the fact that he does it again. You know, like, if you do it once, and in this particular episode, it's, like, a little, like, offhand comment that's, like, kind of weird, but the rest of the episode holds up, and so you're kind of like, but then he does it again, and then it's just kind of like,
okay, what are we doing here?
All right. What's in that head of yours?
Yeah, I'm a little scared. I won't lie. But otherwise, très bien. Magnifique. What a great episode.
I do have one more thing.
Yeah.
I actually have two more things.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, so I feel like this episode was endlessly quotable. I have, like...
Yes.
Mickey, what's pre-revolutionary France doing on a spaceship? Get some perspective is so funny. And then the whole, like, bananas are good
really
thing is also, like, on a t-shirt that I own. Like,
bananas are good?
That whole scene is, like, really well known and famous, and there's lots of Redbubble, like, t-shirts where he, like
when he invents the banana daiquiri early?
Yeah, he, like, stumbles in and he's like, always bring a banana to a party.
Please. That's so, like, early internet humor, like, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, if you know, you know, brother.
I like your shoelaces.
I stole them from the president.
Whatchamacallit. I also, just really quick, Mickey and Rose with big guns. That's all.
Yeah?
I love seeing them with big guns. That was so cute.
They were kind of cute in this episode. I like that. I really, really enjoy that Mickey is traveling with them. Even though the doctor is always like, oh, Mickey, I don't care about you. I do enjoy him being there. I like it when there's a third person on the ship. I like it when there's a third. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm also really excited. Really solid episode. Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
Well, perhaps we should say, allons-y. And Dr. What?
Follow us on Instagram at dr.what.podcast and on Tumblr at drwhatpodcast.
Goodbye.
Dr. What?